All right, go for it.
I'm trying to go for it, man, but I can't. Dude. All right, folks, the reason why I'm cracking up before even the show started, CJ and I were on the air, and this is hot off the press, hot off the news wires, and CJ, I'm still trying to digest this and take this. I'm still trying to take it in. I'm trying to take
Yes.
it all in, man. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, the level of stupidity that CNN they hit an all low V, a new low.
Oh, dude, I'm getting cramps, man. I'm laughing so hard, I'm getting cramps. Oh my god.
So if our listeners haven't read it yet,
Oh.
CNN has came up with the decisive moment in time in history to defy the American people and why Hillary Clinton lost the election.
I don't know.
B, do you want to break this news for them?
Oh god, yeah, dude.
This is it.
Tell
This
them
is it.
now.
I am signed up for this narrative that CNN. I'm signed up for it.
I'm done.
I can believe this a little bit, B.
I can, you said I can believe this for a little bit. I don't know how much. I don't. Yeah, I, I don't know how much lithium you need to intake into your system to watch CNN these days. I don't know how much lithium one must consume, or how many how many acid tablets you need to dilute in your mouth sublingually in order to watch CNN. But CNN has come out, CJ, stating that the first it, first it was hacking the election, and that didn't work. Then it was then it was the $10,000 spent on Facebook ads that caused Hillary Clinton to lose the election. $10,000 in Facebook ads. But now the wonderful investigative journalism of CNN. CJ, I can't. CJ, I can't.
They CNN has
Oh,
determined
oh my
that
god.
Russia and its engineers specifically created. Get this, people. Get this. Go as a distraction to keep the American people from knowing truly what was going on. So Pokemon Go distracted the American public so much that they decided to vote for Donald Trump. And that was it, B. We're
That's
sticking to that narrative.
it. It wasn't Nintendo. It wasn't because everybody everybody was on Pokemon. Gotta catch him. Oh, everybody was on Pokemon. Pokemon Go. The Russians utilized Pokemon Go in order to steal the election from the lovable, absolutely pure as the wind-driven snow Hillary Clinton. Not the fact that they ran a criminally insane candidate, one of the most worst human beings in human history. Oh my god, I love it. I absolutely love it. It was Pokemon Go. Now it's Pokemon Go. I mean, unless you're a lithium drooling libtard loony, there is no way you're going to believe this. And folks, if you're tuning in right now, I am the one, the only Optimus Primate, the supreme ape lord himself, with the master of the flux capacitor, aka El Cuco, and I am Senor Guerrilla, and we are live on Rogue Money Mornings. You can check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. And you could also check us out on Rogue Money Facebook, DTube, Steam It, Rogue Money on every single podcasting app known to humanity, the Rogue Money Apple News. Um, with that also said, folks, our sponsors, RemainCom.net, RemainCom.net, whether you need the gold USB or you need about $600,000 in funding, or you need to get your credit cleaned, or you need that smart banking option that's going to protect your bank account against any sort of seizure or any sort of confiscation or levies, then you need to contact these guys over at RemainCom.net. The response has been overwhelming, so check them out, RemainCom.net. But my God, Siege, I mean, I read that, man. I couldn't believe this. And then watching the report with Don Lemonhead. Oh my God. These guys are like, how do you sit there with a straight face? These guys are idiots.
I'm beyond trying to understand it. I mean, not that I want to be, but the only thing I can attribute this to is that it's a known fact as far as like media, as far as screen time, as far as ads. It's a proven fact that millennials spend the most amount of time on social networks, on these types of platforms that come up with this information. My only reasoning behind CNN coming up with this bogus narrative is just to try to boost their viewers for like a 1 week of millennials to buy into this BS that Pokemon Go distracted into the entire American public from voting in last year's election. V.
Oh my God, Pokemon Go was not even that big. When you look at the metrics of it, no one even plays it anymore. You know, it's just that initial boom just for a few months, and that was it. It was mostly kids. So it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it doesn't stop these idiots because they can't find, like we said, like James O'Keefe broke in Project Veritas. The whole Russia gate is nothing. It's just a smokescreen. It's just like what Van Jones said in that hidden video. It's just a big nothing burger. That's all it is. There's no Russian collusion anywhere. Oh my God. Speaking of Russia, CJ, the first news of the day. Well, first it was China. Now Russia's doing it. All the while, we in the United States continue to peddle our worthless dollars. Russia is going to be launching a crypto ruble. If you haven't figured this out already, this is the future. So get ready for that, my man.
Yeah, and again, I think in terms of the use of the cryptocurrencies, I think this is more of a nationalistic, a nationalism type currency that they'll be issuing. According to reports that are coming out, they're stating that this cryptocurrency cannot be mined. It will be issued and controlled only by the state. So obviously, we don't support that type of utility for the
Sure.
cryptos. In the event that a consumer is not able to explain how they received their cryptocurrency, crypto rubles, and where it came from, they will be levied a 13% tax on that.
Yep.
So, but again, I think in terms of understanding of what cryptocurrencies, how disruptive they are going to be to the banking cartels, this is another perfect example where states, countries are scrambling to understand cryptocurrency, what it means, how it's going to be utilized, and coming up with these things on their own to counter that. V.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I
What they're
don't know
trying.
what it is. V. A certain portion of society still feels comfortable with the state, with the government, and I don't understand it. I try to reason with people. I never try to understand them,
Mhm.
because the moment that you think that you understand them, they go and do something crazy that makes you feel insane. For that reason, I don't. Again, I think as far as utility, we witnessed crypto, Bitcoin reach an all new high.
Yep.
Um, so again, lots of great momentum going on with this thing, and I'm sure here in the U.S. that we'll eventually will try to pass some type of regulation. They will try to do something with, the Jamie Dimons of the world, saying, yeah,
Yeah.
we need to have a U.S.
You
cryptocurrency
you know
and
what
shut
that's
off
gonna do?
all the.
You know what that's gonna do? Oh, every single
It's gonna
regulation.
shoot. It's gonna shoot the.
Boom.
Yeah.
You got it. Because every single thing these guys will try to do to regulate Bitcoin, ban Bitcoin, all they're doing is making the price of Bitcoin skyrocket. All they're doing is making cryptocurrencies all the more desirable. There's no way in hell Russia can ban or make illegal. You can make illegal Bitcoin for for use in paying for governmental services, your taxes, your whatever, right? But there's no way, there's no government or entity in the world that's going to stop anybody who has the means to do so to participate in a cryptocurrency. It's just not possible. It's technologically not possible. All right. So with that being said, this whole Russia crypto ruble launch, I think it's just going to be a convenient way for them to have full on digital currency, have a blockchain that would be accountable to the people as well as other as well as other oversight committees within their own government. I think it's two different things. I think if you look at it, it's just a way of them moving forward with the times, creating their own little crypto. It is still, I mean, their Russian state, central bank is controlled by the government itself. At this point, so it's quite fine. I think they're a step ahead of us, and they're going to be doing the same thing the Chinese are doing. I think this is more for intergovernmental and possibly even trade that this crypto is being set up for, and less to do with the populace. The populace will of course have some variation of it as well, but I think it's more for a trade because at the end of the day, you look at Russia and what China's trying to do. They're not trying to make their whole entire basket on cryptos. They're not trying to make their financial backing on cryptos. Russia and China are commodity rich economies. They're going to back their currency with a commodity, and that's soon to emerge. CJ, that's going to be gold.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And some of these state bound cryptos that they create and everything, there's always a certain portion of the sheepy population that will want to participate in those systems. V.
Yes, absolutely, my man. Absolutely. Nationalism is unstoppable, my man. It seems like populism is spreading all throughout the world. Austria just elected its newest leader, the Wonder Kid, aka Sebastian Kurz of the Conservative Party over there. What is the deal with this guy, Siege?
Yeah, youngest elected. I believe this guy is in his
30.
younger 30s.
Yeah.
It's a huge nationalist movement, a people's movement, and another blow to the EU. We're witnessing it in Spain and now Austria, a big People's Party movement winning parliamentary elections in Austria, securing over 30% of the vote according to the preliminary results. And so this is just exposes even more of humanity against the state, pushing back against the government regulations, the government ties. This is a big blow to the EU, and this energy that's being created by this nationalist, this pro citizen, this pro people movement is resonating throughout the world. V.
Absolutely correct, my man. Absolutely correct. You're going to see this continue. You're going to see Germany is going to be up. It's going to be ripe for it. I think London Paul is going to have a lot to talk about in the next segment coming up on the Sirius Report at 10 a.m. So keep it tuned over here, folks. The big shuffle, CJ, China's biggest political event and the end of the dollar hegemony. This is one to watch, my friend. Nearly 2 years after the historic and mysterious Shanghai Accord, which in early 2016 halted what at that time appeared to be a global collapse in capital markets, courtesy of what appears to be unprecedented political, fiscal, and monetary coordination between the developed world and China. On October the 18th, folks, the world turns its attention to what is arguably the most important political event, I'd say, of the entire decade. The 19th Party Congress, okay? The political event that will determine the country's leadership lineup and policy priorities for the next 5 years. It's actually going to be policies that are made there will probably be for the next 10 to 15, to be exact. Given the emphasis on maintaining stability in the run-up to its pivotal political tensions or transitions, what the Congress will mean for China's economy, its markets, its place in the world, and why entities such as Goldman Sachs has dedicated its latest quote-unquote top-of-mind periodical to Congress. Why does Goldman do this is beyond me. Asking experts on Chinese politics how Xi Jinping, who is already widely regarded as the most powerful leader in China since Mao, can use the reshuffle, quote-unquote, to further consolidate power, and more importantly, what he intends to do with it. Pursue economic reforms more aggressively or maintain status quo. This is the big question that a lot of people have. This is, the idiots over at Goldman Sachs are saying this. There's someone to watch. Here's the gorilla's take on it. The 19th Congressional Party, the 19th Party Congress in China, which will be held this week, CJ, right? Today's, 2 days from now, it's going to be Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're stating is going to be their financial plans, their economic plans. There's only going to be one thing and one thing alone. I think Harley's going to have a lot of interesting things to say on Thursday, and so will Helga LaRouche. So keep it tuned here to Rogue Money. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will be alerted. This is huge monumental news. This is bigger than some geriatric patient shooting an M249 out of the window of a hotel in Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. This is bigger than decertifying Iranian nuclear deal, which apart from a bunch of guys crapping their beds and losing their heads, thinking it's the end of the world, nothing's going to come of it. This is bigger than a supposed strike on North Korea and putting an end to the Rocket Man. That's not going to happen. Folks, I've been trying to fixate your attentions on the bigger things for the last several years. And the bigger plays are the international plays. The dollar dies, and I've always said this, the dollar dies abroad before the effects of it are felt here at home. And the 19th Congressional Party, the 19th Party Congress in China, what they're going to make, folks, the central focus of the entire get-together, apart from the organizational reshuffling, apart from the power reshuffling that will be done with this entire new Congress that will be coming to power, this new leadership, is the new Silk Road, the One Belt, One Road initiative. That is going to be the single focal point of the entire 19th Party. Okay? The entire 19th Party is going to be on the continued de-dollarization. That is it. There's nothing else. Of course, they're going to continue with the strategic initiatives that they have in place in their forward operational bases in Djibouti. And they're going to talk about they're going to of course talk about the South China Seas, the development of the strategic areas there, and why. And I've said this vitally to many people. I'm one of the few analysts out there that have spoken about why China and what China is doing in the South China Seas, and it is to ensure the continued free flow of oil into the Chinese mainland, and that is through the Straits of Malacca, which can easily be naval blockaded by the U.S. Navy. China seeks no imperial, they don't seek any of this imperial expansion that the U.S. and the British have done. They see the folly of it. They have no desire to do that. They want to make sure that they continue to grow economically and are continuing to prosper. So that is what the Chinese are doing. So this whole entire meeting is going to be about de-dollarization. The key thing that you need to understand about this whole 19th Party Congress is the One Belt, One Road initiative and the new upcoming petro yuan with the gold trade settlement that is attached to it, and the new world that is here, the new multipolar world, a world where the dollar is no longer the king dollar, but just another currency. Okay, that is the new world that we're heading to, folks. So that's why this whole entire thing with the 19th Party, Congressional Party, is huge in China. So watch out for that one. All right,
yeah,
man.
well said. Yeah, the only thing I want to contribute to that, V, is if you haven't done so yet, go back. Saturday we released it on our platform. Helga's live stream, her weekly live cast that she does. And we always do that for a couple of different reasons in terms of reaching new audience, but primarily because it's very important. LaRouche Pack, the Schiller, they do a great job on their platforms, but we want to help spread that message to get more Americans to understand exactly what is the One Belt Road and get people to understand the future of economies that are happening around us. So please share that. If you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it. And then more importantly, share that in your network, friends, families, to help spread the word.
Absolutely correct. We got also the Ethereum fork coming up. It's going to be great. I think it's happening right now as we speak, CJ.
Monitor, obviously they're upgrading their blockchain, different platform, new technology becoming involved with it. So one mind state, V, is that there may be one group that sticks with the old blockchain, the old nodes. It continues to grow and expand. However, with the revamped code that they're releasing, it may potentially create a fork with the amount of people that jump to the new technologies in terms of mining, versus the old. So yeah, we'll have to wait and watch it and see where it goes. But no doubt, very interesting times with blockchain.
Absolutely correct. Caesar, this is a big one. Saudi Aramco IPO or no IPO? Are they playing? Let's wait and see what's going on there, buddy.
Yeah, so information broke last week in regards to that the Saudis were going to cancel their IPO, which was originally slotted for this year. They came out, I believe it was the second half of the year and said, no, listen, we're going to wait to 2018. Information broke late last week stating that they were going to do a private equity based ownership to the Chinese, I believe valued at 10% of ownings of Aramco, which
It's over.
significantly would help.
It's over.
I'm sorry.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is
So now,
they're definitely going to sell. I mean, think about this. Think about what just this whole news is, right? Like everybody, just focus on this news real quick. Saudi Arabia denies reports it's considering shelving international IPO, right? But it says the reports of the company favoring private stake sale to foreign governments, including China and other investors. In other words, folks, they are really tilting towards, wait a minute, instead of having an IPO, release it in the market and have it all, monetized or financialized in dollars. What are they doing? All of a sudden, they hit the brakes on this IPO deal they've been working on for the last several years, CJ, right? And
right,
and
right.
now they're saying, hey, why don't we have a private sale to certain foreign governments, including China? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, let's put the pieces of this puzzle together. Um, China announces petro gold yuan coming, right?
Right,
King
right,
Salman, the sickly king of Saudi Arabia, who can barely walk, flies to Moscow to meet with Putin explicitly, bows before King Putin, right? King Putin bows before him, right? Signs energy agreement, right? And now they're saying the latest report from Financial Times, which to me, I read a lot of FT. I prefer over the Wall Street. Wall Street Journal is like for children. It's for children. You want to know a lot of the telegraphing moves. You read FT. If you know how to read between the lines, you kind of get what the elites are doing or what they're expecting to do next. Okay. Now, the Financial Times, the FT reported Friday, just this past Friday, that Saudi Aramco, the company was in favor of a private stake sale to foreign governments, including China and other investors, amid concerns over feasibility of an international listing. Aramco, of course, dismissed the whole thing as entirely speculative. All listing ventures are under review for optimal decision. The IPO process is back on track for 2018, the company said on Twitter. The initial public offering, expected to be the world's largest stock sale, forms a cornerstone of the oil-rich kingdom's reform program to wean the economy off its reliance on oil prices. Saudi Arabia has laid out plans for Aramco's dual listing on the Saudi stock market and an international exchange for 2018, which makes New York, London vying for the offer, but the company has struggled to select an international venue for its listing. So, CJ, they've been dragging this out for several years. Why? Is it because they understand what the hell's happening? They get that we're moving into a post-dollar world. Is it possible? Is it possible that they're saying to themselves, "Well, what are we going to do in a post-petro world with the huge oil players like Russia and Iran coming online? What do we do then?" It doesn't look too good for the Saudis. That's why they've been dragging their feet. And why haven't they committed to New York and or London? Is it possible, Siege, that they are going to have an IPO, but the IPO will be in Shanghai?
yeah, yeah. The move here is again. I think they're just denying at this point until it's officially ready to launch and they have everything solidified. It's just a matter of time now.
Brother, it is just a matter of time. You want to know about the kill shot that's going to kill the dollar? Whoo! Man, I don't even think it's going to be President Xi Jinping waking up and hitting the F the dollar button next to his nightstand and dumping U.S. bonds. I think the way the dollar dies, with the petrodollar specifically, it's just one day you and I are going to wake up, Siege, and the audience is going to wake up, and we're going to hear the news. Saudi Arabia just announced the selling of the Aramco IPO will be offered on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Already, 10% of ownership to the company has been sold to the Chinese government. Boom. Boom. Just like that, the petrodollar's over. Just like that. That is the kill shot. That's it. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Bingo.
I mean, that's it. I mean, why else would you be dragging your feet? Why else would you can't decide between New York and London? It's just it's such a huge difference between that New York and London. What a huge difference! I mean, come on. Why is it taking this long? Why the recent, and let's not forget the recent attempted coup in Saudi Arabia, where Saudi royals were put on lockdown and some members were arrested and or detained in their palaces. Think about that. The world is changing, folks. The world is changing. Let's not also forget that yours truly, about 3 years ago, I think it's maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was September of 2014, I believe it was, or 15. I quite can't remember. I think it was 14, where the Saudi prince, one of the Saudi princes, was hijacked. He was carjacked. 300,000 euros were taken from him and secret documents. This was the September, I believe, after the July-August month of when Christophe de Margerie from Total Petroleum was killed, was assassinated. And I broke the cover that all the planning and culmination that's been done, that's been going on right now, has been going back for several years. The Saudis knew the handwriting on the wall a long while ago. They're not stupid. And we like to think that they like to sit around and hump goats all day. These are not Afghanis. These are not the Pashtuns living out in West Bumblehuha, Afghanistan. No. They're very smart, highly educated, and don't let the garb fool you, because they just wear that for state reasons. I'll tell you right now, the Saudis, the Saudis love their exotic cars. They love their blondes. They love their booze. Okay? They love it. And they're not dumb. So several years, I mean, think about it. They've been working and meeting with the Russians for several years right now. Total Petroleum, Christophe de Margerie, was a very key focal point within the interactions, not only between Saudi Arabia and Russia, but also Russia, Iran, and even the Saudis back then, trying to get these people on the negotiating table. Then you have the prince gets carjacked by a bunch of Western operatives. The prince's entourage was carjacked. I mean, you're talking about, a 7-8 car, convoy that was blocked off by a special operations forces hit team. 300,000 euros was lifted off the prince, as well as secret documents. Okay. Then the carjackers who pulled that off, the spec op teams, when the French police, when French law enforcement found their cars, they found out the cars were burned and destroyed and no evidence was left. This is a professional hit. Secret documents, quote unquote, was lifted off the prince. The 300,000 euros doesn't mean anything. It was made to look like a robbery. Okay? They were after 300,000 euros. They don't care about 300,000 euros. They can make that in a second. But this was about the secret documents. This is about all the meetings that the Saudis were having, because the Saudi prince was actually meeting with Russian and French energy magnates, okay? People who are, the captains of industry from Russia that are in the energy sector, as well as in France that are in the energy sector. That's what the Saudi prince was meeting with when he left, and then was later carjacked. Then you fast forward to everything that's happening today with the recent announcement of the petrogold yuan, with the recent announcement of the the Russian and Saudi energy deals that have been signed. I mean, all of this. And even back then in September 2014, when this whole event happened, I mean, Salman, I think, was just coming to power. Or he wasn't even in power. I think Faisal was still alive back then. My memory don't serve me correctly right now. I need a little bit more dark roast. I need to pop a couple more fish oils and take some inositol. Maybe knock down some taurine, and I'll be able to tell you. But yours truly was the only guy that was talking about it. So this is huge. They're not offering to sell to New York and London because they don't want anything to do with New York and London. Saudi Arabia is done with the dollar. That kill shot's going to happen when you wake up and you find out that the Saudi Aramco, that IPO is going to be sold on the Shanghai Stock Exchange, which is right now the most liquid market on the planet. Don't let the Wall Street bullshitters fool you. It's the most liquid market in the world. This is huge news, man. And here's the Financial Times.
And I think,
and here's the Financial Times telegraphing. You know, oh yeah, they're shelving plans for an international listing, and they're with the state, and they're looking at they're favoring a private stake sale to a foreign government. And so funny because here you have the Saudis saying all listing venues are under review for optimal decision. IPO process is on track for 2018. You're right. The IPO process is on track for 2018. It's just not going to be the New York Stock Exchange or the City of London. Go ahead, Siege.
No, I think you nailed it. I think that in part, the Saudis understand the moment that this happens, what the deep state, what the cabal. So not only is their economic help, but also their security that important. And we did cover last week as well, as far as Russia negotiating, brokering a peace talk between Iran and the Saudis. So I think the moment that there's some momentum, that is solidified, boom, the announcement goes into place, and it's more of a secure, stabilized Middle East that the Saudis can move forward without the U.S. influence that's been there for so many years, V.
Yep, absolutely correct, my man. Iraqi forces are on the offensive, CJ. What is that all about?
Quick, we'll continue to monitor this because there are mixed reports coming out. But what we do know is that things are heating up in Iraq as Iraqi forces move in to secure the oil fields, the airports. Mixed information coming about whether that there were actual casualties, how heated this did. London Paul can have some more information regarding this, but just continue to monitor to know that things are escalating there, and we'll just have to continue to observe it, V.
Absolutely. It says over here, Hezbollah is using a de-escalation. Hezbollah has a 10,000 men facing Israel's Golan, claims commander. I wonder who the quote-unquote commander is. If the commander is Israeli, I would not even believe it. Israel's always looking for some sort of excuse to go after Hezbollah, and I don't think they've learned from Operation Cast Lead how that worked out. It's not a smart move. I would not. I will file this as disinformation. I think Hezbollah right now is completely enveloped in fighting ISIS. But go ahead, please break this thing down, and I'll chime in on the back end.
Yeah. Well, we know overnight that Israeli jets that were flying over Lebanon, apparently they did, have some airstrikes on Syria, but they're claiming that it was in retaliation. And now we're getting reports exactly what you said. The truth is somewhere in the middle regarding Hezbollah mounting forces, fighters along the southern Syria borders at what this article could be stating is an escalation with Israel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The W has talked about quite a
Yeah.
bit as well. So
Mhm.
again, be interesting to get him back on and share his thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, we'll set that up, man. We'll set that up. In terms of Hezbollah and what these globalist jackoffs want to do is try to get some sort of Israel and the U.S. to go after Hezbollah, and they're trying to list Hezbollah as a terror group, and at the same time they're trying to list the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist group, which they did. Okay, and then the Treasury's try and sanction them, which is joking and laughable. Let me explain something to you guys. Okay, I know many Americans don't understand, can't find, don't understand what Hezbollah is. They think, oh, it's like Al Qaeda or something like that. Hezbollah is not a terrorist organization; it's a political party. Okay, you might not agree with how the political party came about or what their viewpoints are, but that's just fine. At the end of the day, they're a political party. And the thing with Hezbollah is this: they are not Al Qaeda, they are not ISIS. These are some of the most battle-hardened mofo's in the Middle East. Okay, they are a tough band of militias. And they are such a tough bunch of SOBs that when the last time when Israel went into Lebanon and faced Hezbollah, it did not end very well at all for the Israelis. It was a nightmare scenario. Operation Cast Lead was a terrible, terrible operation that blew up in the face of the IDF. Now you got the Warhawks at APAC, the uh, the neocon and Zionist nut jobs, okay, who think they can, again, they got this. I don't know what it is. I think the Zionists and the nut job neocons get together and they have a circle jerking contest. See who can circle jerk the hardest when it comes to going into the Middle East and revamping the Middle East in their crazy neocon, neo-Zionist, ways of looking at the entire Middle Eastern project. That's a pipe dream. It is a pipe dream that they pack very tightly with hubris, and they smoke it, and they pass it around. Okay, so every single one of these idiots that are involved in this really believe the BS that they hear in their own echo chambers. They think that somehow the U.S. has the vaunted military power to go on ahead and with Israel backing it up is going to go in and finish off Hezbollah. What they don't realize is this: Bibi Netanyahu is under a lot of scandal. He's going to be the point man to pull this whole time thing off, and that's not going to happen. Why? Because he's under massive scandal, massive investigations. Okay, number one. Number two, Putin has Bibi's nuts in a vice. The funny thing is, Bibi's so stupid he doesn't realize that. Okay, he doesn't get it. Right? Bibi is using Jared of Arabia, aka Jay Cush, okay, to influence Jay Cush's father-in-law to follow the idiotic, stupid, nonsensical neocon foreign policy in the Middle East, which has never worked, which will never will work. Okay? So this is going to be another blunder. All the while these idiots and these mice are planning to do this, the world is de-dollarizing. All the while they're planning on doing this, Saudi Arabia, like we said just a few minutes ago, is planning on dumping the petrodollar. All the while they're doing this, all they're doing, guys, is hastening the moment when the world ends the dollar. And when China and Russia says enough's enough and they dump the dollar along with Saudi Arabia, it's done. It's done. All their war plans, all their scheming, all their asymmetric warfare, all their proxies, all their operations, all their quote-unquote moderate rebels, all of it comes to a screeching halt. And when the dollar is done and the neocon deep state, the neocon neoliberal deep state is finally dealt a death blow, and Wall Street is culled for what it is, but a den of thieves, then what is Israel going to do? This is why it's critical for the younger generation of Israel to wake the F up. Do not follow in the footsteps of your forefathers. It is time you create for yourself an industrious secular country and begin to integrate your nation into the One Belt, One Road initiative that Egypt is doing, that Lebanon is set to do, that Syria is going to be a part of doing. Or you're going to swallow the pill that's been sold to you generation after generation, which has led to nothing but perpetual debt and perpetual war, because it is an economic basket case in Israel right now. Play very carefully on who you offend. This is not 2000 BC. This is 2017. This ain't 1933. This is 2017. And it's sure ain't 1944 or 43 or 45. It's 2017. The world is about to change. And I'm telling anybody, Western countries, non-Western countries, if you're still holding on to the old paradigm, you're going to be left shortchanged, lacking, and wanting. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. So I'm not worried about the schemes of, oh, they're going to get Al Qaeda, they're going to get Hezbollah, they're going to try to get a war against Hezbollah. Nobody in their right mind wants to fight Hezbollah. I think the only people on planet Earth, CJ, that'll probably go that can fight Hezbollah head on and will enjoy the combat will probably be the Russian Chechens. That's it. Apart from that, ain't nobody crazy enough to go fight Hezbollah. It's a meat grinder. I mean, it's laughable. You get around people that actually know unbiasedly, and you get away from all the marketing hype of the military-industrial complex, making you think that American soldiers are 10 feet tall and have the most alien technology backing them up. And you get into a ground war. Nobody is going to... You're not going to fight an air battle against us. It's not going to happen. You think Russia's going to allow you to fly warplanes? Ain't going to happen. So you're going to have to go on a ground war. Nobody wants that. That's stupid. And you think I'm worried about this all the while? The dollar's about to get popped? The dollar's about to get popped, and these idiots are planning this. Rather than trying to figure out, hey, how can we create some real jobs? How do we bring back real factories to this country? How do we get this economy? How do we get an infrastructure deal done? How do we get a tax cut through? Rather than doing that, these jackwads, these jackasses, which you folks need to vote out of office come this 2018, are plotting on how they can go ahead and go for more war. 2018, folks, we better throw these guys out of office. All of them. Save for a handful. The rest got to go. Because something old has got to go. With that being said, CJ, anything else, brother? Because we're at the end of the show.
No, very excited. 10 a.m. here, less than 15 minutes. We have London Paul coming on for the Series Report. Very excited about that, V. So make sure you don't go too far away now.
Absolutely. With that being said, folks, I am the gorilla who is the thriller. He is the mixmaster extraordinaire. And we are over and we are out. Check us out, roguemoney.net. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Share the love. We're out. Take it away, buddy.